big part of what we do is reclaiming the history and reclaiming the history of these old bikes. So essentially what we do is we will take a bicycle frame that is old but still perfectly functional, and we will strip that back to the bare skeleton and build a brand new bike from that. And part of that is obviously passing on that history to a new user, giving something a new lease of life. It's not about refurbishing old bikes, it's about essentially rebirthing something that may have, come to the end of its life cycle. We used our savings and so on. We wanted to start up a company that didn't cost a lot of money. We didn't have loads of money to start up with, so we found a nice workshop space in a place that wasn't too expensive. Really what was a disused building, and that was really important to us, to use places that, or to use a place that wasn't being used for anything in particular, and reclaiming a small part of the city as well. Well, the first thing we do is we have a cup of coffee, really important, or tea, and we sit down and have a chat about what they're going to be using the bike for. That's so important. There's no point going into a bike shop and spending £800 on a brand new bike if it's too high spec for you, if you're going to be using it on a Sunday afternoon, take your kids to the park. So the main piece of advice is being realistic about what you're going to do on the bike, and then we start from there. I'll always ask a potential customer, have they seen any bikes that they like, or are there other things in their lives that inspire them? For example, one guy came to me and he had a picture of an old E-Type Jag car, and he said that he wanted a bike that looked like that, and so that was where the inspiration for his bike came from, and we did that, and he was happy with it. So I think the combination of what are you going to be using it for, and how do you want it to look, what inspires you, where do you draw your own inspiration from. Essentially, if you're getting something custom made, then it has to be right, at the end of the day. And so we'll spend a long time working on that with people. Someone gave us this old bike that they had found half buried in the sand down at Strangford Lough, and so we don't know how long it had been there. So we actually completely stripped it apart. It was all rusty and everything, and we kept the frame. It was good, and we refurbished it, and we built a new bike from it, and now one of my friends' wives uses that to cycle around on. So that's really cool. It had literally been buried, and we resurrected it, so that's cool. One of the things we love is seeing our bikes around the town. We've got actually a couple in the States now, London, Liverpool, Manchester, Glasgow, right across the UK now, which is great, and the feedback has been brilliant. We're always getting sent pictures of people using their bikes. We even get sent pictures of people spotting our bikes around the town and so on, which is brilliant. So people seem to really, really like it. I think the main thing that people enjoy about our bikes is that it's been made just for them. So it's something that fits you really well, it's something that rides really well, it's something that you've put your own thought into as well. So the design comes from the customer. Of course, we steer them and guide them and advise them, but the design comes really from the customer's mind, and that's where they get the look and feel from. So the feedback has been really, really good so far. Generally, I do think that cycling in Belfast is safe, but there is a lot of work that needs to be done. Cyclists need to make themselves as safe as possible. There's no point having a campaign for cycling infrastructure or cycle routes if cyclists themselves aren't taking it seriously. We don't go out and risk our lives in our car. We use indicators, we wear seat belts, and we obey the laws of the road. And the same needs to be done, like cyclists need to be doing the same. I think that we do need to see more education of kids in safe use of their bikes around the city, even in the countryside, through the likes of the Cycling Proficiency Scheme. I think that we need to make all drivers aware, in the same way as we've had the campaigns recently about drivers being aware of motorcyclists. The same needs to be done for cyclists as well. We do a community night ride once a month, and that's basically just a bunch of people getting together to go out for a bike ride with each other around the city. And part of that is sharing each other's stories. How did you get into cycling? Is it important to you? What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it? And lots of that is just spent talking to each other and sharing stories. So all those things add up, and we really want to be known as storytellers as well. Our fellow night ride is the third Wednesday of every month. We meet here at Fellow Bicycle Co, just off the Ulmer Road, at 8:30 in the evening, have a cup of coffee, leave at 9 p.m, cycle around Belfast for about an hour, very leisurely pace, and then come back and grab a pint afterwards. One of the things we're really passionate about at Fellow is that people have fun on their bikes, and we really want to help create a positive cycling culture in Northern Ireland, and specifically in Belfast. And part of that is doing stuff like the community night rides. Part of that is doing, building affordable bikes. Part of that is fixing up old bikes to get people out there again. So I would just say it doesn't really matter about what type of bike you have. Just get out and give it a go, and you'll probably find that you enjoy it.